and welcome back to the United Stand. It is Thursday morning. We have just been beat by Real Madrid today, if you count today, in the UK, 1 a.m. I actually was up watching the game, and I know a lot of you guys will have been as well. I watched the whole game. I'm very tired this morning. I have to have a strong coffee to wake me up, but I'm here. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But as you can see by the title, the main headlines today is that Højlund and Amrabat deals are edging closer. I know it feels like at the moment, every day, it feels like it's getting closer, but that's because it genuinely is. And we work on transfers very, very slowly, but it looks like this is getting closer. And if the game against Real Madrid was anything to go by, if I was Erik Ten Hag, I'd be ringing whoever's in charge up and I'd be saying, look, I need a striker now. I need one ASAP, because we're in pre-season and we literally don't have an established striker to play games. It's really, really frustrating. So that, hopefully, Højlund should be going through any time now. Hopefully, we can get that moving. Also, does Ten Hag call out the Glazers a little bit in his recent quote? We'll be getting into that. Galatasaray, another offer got in for Fred. What I would say to Galatasaray is stop offering peanuts and you might get somewhere. But also, Dean Henderson potentially off to Nottingham Forest very, very soon. We'll get into all of that this morning. But good morning, everyone. Get your opinions in the chat on last night's game. Let's get in the conversation. Let's have a chat. I actually thought last night, I thought overall he played well. I think people are being very reactionary to what was a pre-season game. That midfield was unbelievable in the first half, that Real Madrid. I think they're one of the, honestly, I know they're missing the striker, but they're one of the best teams in the world, up there with Man City. They're brilliant. But that being said, there was some glaringly obvious issues when it came to Manchester United. Glaringly obvious. And I'll tell you something, the signing of Amrabat and Højlund fixes two of them, because we don't have a striker, and don't get me started on Eriksen. He's pointless playing him in games like that, and they're two positions that we can instantly fix if we buy them in the window. We need to hurry up with them two players, but other things as well, like not being potent enough around the goal. Again, a striker will fix that. Just some stuff that I think needs improving, but also some good things. Palestri looked good. Donny actually looked decent. You know, there's some things that we can take away from it that were good. Onana actually playing passes. I think he hit like every single one of his forward passes, apart from maybe two, and even that, I think it was just so much to like about Onana basically dropping in as the next centre-back. So we're going to get into everything, but I want to start off on the news, which is of Højlund and Amrabat, and let's get into it, everyone, because it came out late last night for our good friend. We're loving Alfredo at the moment. Alfredo Pedula came out and said Man United's new proposal to Fiorentina for Sofyan Amrabat is in the region of €35 million. He's one step away from a move to United. Remember what I said yesterday on the morning show, guys? I said I genuinely only think what's holding up this deal is Fred not having left yet. I think as soon as Fred goes, that deal gets done. Because you can't tell me that Man United have to spend weeks and weeks and weeks establishing a fee for Amrabat. It's very simple. The fee for Amrabat will probably be around £26–27 million. It's a brilliant fee for a player of that quality. There's no negotiating to be done. You can get him out. He's got a year left on his contract. Obviously, there's bits and bobs to negotiate on. Amrabat wants to come. Personal terms are agreed. It's a very simple deal. What we need to do is we need Galatasaray or Saudi or someone to come in and say, Fred will take you for 20 million, and then we can move on with this deal. And again, I'll revert back to it. This is why you need to sell players early on in the window. So you're not left in this situation. You have to be organised. So you're not left in the situation where you need Amrabat to be in now, realistically, and we can't do it because we've not sold him yet. And this is the way Man United are working at the moment. Sultan says, appreciate the work you do for this community, Beth. Love from Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much for that super chat. And Steve Run says, rivals slating Martinez all over Twitter, calling him some terrible things, are completely disgusting, contributing to mental health issues of the player. I absolutely love Lisandro Martinez, and I don't want anything to change about his game. Yeah, it was a friendly, and, you know, sometimes them challenges in friendlies are seen as a little bit, you know, kind of a bit much, but that's Lisandro Martinez as a player. We don't want to change him. That's what we love about him. And I don't care what rival fans think of him, because, you know, rival fans, if they don't like one of our players, it probably means they're doing something right. Sean Turner says, don't worry about the striker. Erik Ten Hag needs to stop playing our best creative player out of position for Mount, who is nowhere near Bruno's level. It's starting to get very annoying. I have to say, me and Erik Ten Hag, we're on the same wavelength on a lot of things. One thing we're not on the same wavelength is that Bruno on the right. I can't stand it. I really can't. He's so creative down the middle. He's so creative in the middle. Why is he on the right? I especially to, you know, like, generally in that game, we'd be better off playing a midfield of Casemiro, Mount and Bruno and Antony on the right instead of Eriksen in the middle, who contributes absolutely nothing in a physical game like that. So that was weird to me. Keel Robinson says, Højlund is not good enough, go for Lukaku on loan. Absolutely not. A lot of people say my mic is a little bit quiet. We did have a little bit of issues with this before. Let me try and adjust it into position for you, everyone. But here we are. But yeah, Amrabat, let's get back to the topic. Amrabat, one step away. There's not really much else I can say in the fact that we've agreed personal terms with Amrabat, completely agreed. Fees in the region of 35 million euros. Fiorentina is happy with that, and he's one step away from moving to Man United. Alfredo Pedula has been brilliant on transfers for United. I expect this move to be done as soon as Fred goes through. But again, he also put a little tweet out last night saying Manchester United raise his bonuses and they can break through 30 million. A few details are missing, so it's very, very close. We're in verbal communications with Amrabat. The one thing I'm a little bit one thing I'm a little bit edgy about is the fact that Romano hasn't tweeted much about Amrabat, and usually Romano's really on the pulse with Man United transfers. So maybe we wait until Romano tweets anything for it to be nearly be done, because, you know, he's not really tweeted anything about official bids. But I do think this deal is happening. It's under wraps, and I do think Alfredo's got some really good insight on it. So hopefully we can get Fred gone very, very soon. And we actually do have an update on Fred and where he might be heading later on, and where his transfer saga is at. Harvey Chapman says Onana attempted 39 passes and has 95.1% completion. That is my keeper. That is my keeper. And I know he got a little bit of flack for the first goal, but come on, it was offside. It was offside. Did he come off his line maybe a little bit too quick, and could have been a little bit more communication with Martinez? Yeah, but that's just playing with a keeper and getting used to it. That first goal, he was Jude Bellingham in the Premier League, in the Champions League. If we're in a game, Jude Bellingham is offside and it's 0-0. So I don't take into consideration. He made some great saves. I thought he was very vocal considering he's just coming to the team, off his line really well. His catching was great, coming off his line. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I can see how much he's going to influence his team. And Erik ten Hag likes it as well. We've got some quotes coming up for him. But a little bit on Rasmus Højlund as well. As you can see, that deal is really close. TalkSport now are joining the party. Mark said numerous times on the show before, the UK press are a little bit behind on this Højlund deal. They really are. They've been stating £85 million for a while. It's not that. It's 70 million euros, which is what Atalanta want. I find it very interesting that the verbal bid that we proposed yesterday hasn't been rejected yet. If it had been rejected, Romano would have put it out there. I remember when we bidded for Mount and it got rejected within the hour and it came out straight away. This bid has been sent the first bid for Højlund has been sent to Atalanta, and it's not been rejected as we know as of yet. That's a good sign. That is a really good sign, because if it was nowhere near what Atalanta wanted, it would have been instant rejection. I do think we're a lot closer than what some people think on the fee. I think this bid will be rejected, by the way. I think we will have to come up. But what was the bid? I think it was 50 million euros plus 10 million euros in add-ons. I think we move up to around 58 million euros and then some add-ons on top. I think we're looking towards a very good deal with Atalanta there with Højlund. Again, I've stated it, I do think it's a little bit too much, but that's what we've got to pay. And I just think we should get this deal done, because it's dragging out now, and any other top team would have had this deal done ages ago. The fact Ronaldo left nearly a year ago and we've still not got a proper striker in is absolutely ridiculous. It really is. We can get the keeper, which I'm very happy about. We can get Mount, which again I'm happy about. But we need a striker in, and Højlund is Ten Hag's striker. This deal will happen. I honestly don't. I am in the 90% club. I know that term has kind of hurt us a little bit on the United standing pass windows, Frankie de Jong, but I am in the 90% club with Højlund. I think he is going to sign. It's just getting it done a little bit more quickly, because we need him integrated, just like Erik ten Hag said. But yeah, TalkSport have jumped onto it. Man United are in advanced talks to sign Rasmus Højlund. Slow Sports News. Tell us something we don't know. I'm joking. TalkSport, it's good to get the UK media on this now. And Højlund is close. It's been close for a very long time. We just need to get the fee right with Atalanta. But as Alfredo Pedula did put out there, you know, Atalanta are investing around 30 million euros, including bonuses, for El Bilal Torre, who is their replacement for Højlund. So Højlund is going to leave. I know PSG are looking to hijack, but Højlund wants Man United. He said, bigger wages, no thank you, I want to go and play under Erik ten Hag. And I love that about the player. And of course you would, you know, the Premier League, and I know the wages that PSG are offering are bigger, but playing under Erik ten Hag's project now in the Premier League, it's really, really exciting. But you start to respect the player for, you know, kind of batting off PSG. But they are there. And I do think we're going to sign Højlund. I think there's obviously contact with him. But the last thing we want to do is for it to get to the final weeks and, you know, Højlund's camp are saying to him, you know, this Man United deal might fall through and you have the chance to go to PSG. Maybe we should take it. And I don't want anything like that to happen. I don't think it will, but this is why Man United have to be cautious, really do. Because Atalanta need the money as well. They've already invested. They're investing right now into their new striker that is going to replace Højlund. So he is going to leave. But it's very, very interesting. We'll get on some quotes from Erik in a second. Mojo gifted 10 United Stand memberships. Thank you, Mojo, for that. Really appreciate it. Legend in the chat there. And Desmond says, Beth, hi Beth, how are you doing today? I am doing very, very well. I think there's a lot of positives we can take out of the game, the early hours of this morning. A lot of positives. There's also some things that I feel like are a massive reality check for us, like Sancho playing false nine, it's just not going to work. You know, Eriksen in a midfield, that's really physical. It's just not going to work. We need a striker. Just a few things. Bruno on the right, again, just nothing to do with Bruno Fernandes. I love him. I think he's our best player. I just don't agree with Erik playing him on the right. I think it's an absolute waste. But Erik the coach, and he's a brilliant coach. So let's see. But it's happened a few times now, and I just do not rate it at all. I can't lie to you. But I'm a little bit tired, but it's all good. I'm happy to be here with you guys. And make sure you hit a like on the video, because you never know. You know, we could have some breaking news today regarding Højlund or Amrabat. Both deals are very close. Imagine if we got them at the same time. That'd be absolutely... I'd be loving it. I'd be absolutely loving it, because the two massively needed signings. So hit a like on the video if you are excited, everyone. Over 6,000 in the room. Really appreciate it, especially when I know a lot of you guys were up watching the game with like I was last night. Mojo says, sign Højlund and get Felix on loan. We won't be getting Felix on loan. No matter how many people want Felix, we won't. Plus, he came out and started, you know, confessing his love to Barcelona, so that really put me off. But we won't be getting Felix on loan. Connor Keown says, Beth, do you feel we have done enough to finish in the top four with the business we have done or yet to do? Without signing Højlund or Amrabat, can't see it happening. Just can't see it happening. With signing Højlund or Amrabat, I honestly think it takes us up levels to the point, if Højlund performs how I expect him to, takes us up levels to the point where we could be battling up there towards the top of the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but we should be battling. We should be in some sort of a race around January, I think, personally, at this point. I'm not saying we have to be. I think getting top four, I do think we have to get top four, I really do. But I do think there's nothing wrong with saying Man United should be battling in the title race around January, because I think we should be. Do I think we'll be there without signing Højlund or Amrabat? Absolutely not. We need to get them players in, because the massive, massive gaps in our team, and that's why Ten Hag's identified them. Savage says top four is a massive challenge, even with those two. Well, it depends on how Højlund performs. This is what I mean around Højlund. There's a lot of pressure on this kid coming in, because we've seen yesterday, Rashford can work as a striker, but, you know, against the top defences, it's certain games he's just going to look anonymous. It's not going to work. He said himself on the overlap with Gary Neville he prefers the left, and that is where he's better. It really is. I know people are getting hyped over Sancho false nine because of a few pre-season games and the shots he was taking in training, but again last night, do I think he performed better than Rashford? Yeah, but did he give away the ball a lot? Did he look potent on goal at all? Did he look like he was going to score? Did he look physical, like a presence in the box? No, not at all. It's not going to work over the course of the season. It's just not. So the only options you really have left is Martial, who I think can do it, but is injured consistently. So I just act now, if Martial's fit, is a bonus. Like, I just act like if he's fit, is a bonus. I don't expect him to be fit ever, because he's injured that often, so you have to write him off. So with Højlund, you're kind of resting all your hopes on the fact that Højlund is going to come in and hit the ground running. There's a lot of pressure. This is where we're at. And to be honest with you, I saw what Mark was saying last night, and it is true. Like, I'd understand where we're at with this deal right now if it was the likes of Harry Kane, because it's a player that you have to negotiate for a long time to get everything right. It's a world-class player that is going to cost you a lot of money. Højlund is a 20-year-old striker at Atalanta. We should have had this deal done by now. We should have, and I completely agree with him on that point. Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people talking about Maguire getting booed. Never nice to see. His performance was horrendous, but him getting booed is completely out of line, and it shouldn't be happening by our own fans. It should not be at all. Don't agree with it. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the striker, because we're still on this, Amrabat and Højlund right now. And this is the part I wanted to get into, because is this, let me know your thoughts in the chat, I'm still thinking about it. Is this Erik ten Hag having a little dig at the Glazers, or potentially someone handling this Højlund transfer in the club? Erik ten Hag, on signing a striker, he says, we do, and everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot in the club, and we have all the power to get this done. So Erik ten Hag, let me just repeat that quote again. On signing a striker, we do, and everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot in the club, and we give all the power to get this done. So he's starting to say, well, everyone's trying to do the best to get this done, and then he stops himself and goes, well, not everyone. Well, who's not, Erik? Give us a little bit more information. I know he's not, but who is not giving everything to get Højlund in? Because that should be Man United's absolute priority right now. I mean, if I was Erik ten Hag, whoever is, not doing enough on this deal, because there's clearly someone who's not doing enough. There's clearly someone who's not doing enough for him to mention not everyone. I would say to him, look, come and watch this Real Madrid game back with me and tell me we can go into a season without a striker. Because we're playing nice possession football, we're holding the ball well, our defence is solid. There was definitely some mistakes, but that's rustiness of pre-season. We can't score to save our lives. We just don't look like scoring. Every time Madrid came at us, I was worried. I was thinking, oh, this is probably going to be a goal right now. When United went forward, I thought, I don't expect much because there's not really any potency there. So if I was Erik ten Hag, saying whoever's not helping with this, we need to hurry this up. And I spoke on the yesterday's show about every single bid or any act of movement on a transfer, every single one of the Glazer siblings who was part of the club has to approve it. So this is why it takes a while. Maybe it's a little dig at that. I'm not sure. This is just speculation. This is just me speculating. It's nothing confirmed, but it's interesting. Reece Smith says, Højlund is a massive risk. Oh, just lost your super chat then. Højlund is a massive risk. United should try and loan an inexperienced... Højlund is a massive risk. United should try and loan an experienced striker as a backup to take the pressure off. I agree. I think there'd be nothing wrong with getting an experienced striker in as well. I mentioned Taremi, people either are on board with that or they scoff at it. But I'm saying get Højlund in, but to have an experienced striker there would be a helping hand for sure. Martial would be perfect, but, he's literally just made of glass, just cannot stay fit. Anything else in here? No, not as of yet. We don't have intention when we attack, says Mahad, as if. And yeah, Madrid did outplay us in the final third. Apart from that, I thought you were decent. Oh, by the way, Kobbie Mainoo, I really hope his injury's okay, because for Erik ten Hag to give him the nod in that game, in that midfield, was huge. And I think it gave us a real indication of where Erik ten Hag rates him. So I really hope his injury's okay. But we'll speak about that in a little second. Erik ten Hag also said, when he was asked if... Erik ten Hag asked if chances versus Real Madrid emphasise why he wants a number 9. And he just replied with, coming from Simon Stone, absolutely. Erik ten Hag is literally doing everything in these press conferences to indicate to the fans, to the board, to Murto, that he's in desperate need of a number 9. He's basically, we might as well sit in the press conference, whip out, a bucket and say, contributions to number 9, please. I'm absolutely desperate. He's honestly so desperate for a number 9 right now. He's making it so abundantly clear without kind of stepping over the line, which I think is a real skill as a manager. And this is why progress needs to be made on Højlund, and I'm hoping Erik ten Hag pushing it means we'll get some sort of breakthrough soon. Tony Swinton says Rashford did not look happy in that role. It wasn't Rashford's best game. I know it's pre-season, so you don't get carried away, but he did seem a little bit anonymous. And that can happen when you're not an established striker up against the likes of, Rudiger, Militao. These are players that are top quality. And I thought Real Madrid's defence was brilliant. I also thought their keeper, I know it wasn't Courtois, I can't remember his name, was absolutely phenomenal. And they played out from the back with ease. Our press, we were bigging up our press. It needs work. That's another thing. It does need work, especially against the top teams. Lunin, that was his name. Lunin looks like he's going to be a top player. Real talent there, I think. And then Erik ten Hag on missed chances. Again, this was him basically saying, I need a number 9 desperately. I'm trying to, work with what I've got, but I need someone to stick the ball in the back of the net. He says, I thought Scott McTominay had a one-on-one situation and Alejandro Garnacho had a one-on-one situation. And from these situations, you have to score. So he's holding his players accountable, saying, time and time again, our finishing isn't good enough. And I agree with him. you know, you look at Real Madrid and them chances we had, they would have slotted them straight away. Other teams, you know, the technical ability, you've got to put them chances away. Like, I mean, that overhead kick was just insane. There's nothing that you can do about that. But I thought about it and I was like, just don't think I can imagine any of our players ever being able to pull that off. You want players of high technical skill in your team, and we miss that sometimes. Praz has donated for a super chat. Thank you very much. Your first super chat. Thank you for that. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So Erik ten Hag's desperate for a striker. Will we get confirmation today around a bid for Højlund? Because what I don't want to see is, you know, say today Romano comes out, first bid rejected from Man United from Atalanta. I don't want to have to wait until next week before we bid again. I want our next bid to go in very quickly on this. Do you remember, I mean, you guys know what's happening right now. If you don't, basically Liverpool are trying to get Lavia for Southampton. They've been interested for a while, but they've started the bidding process this week. They went in with an initial bid of 37 million. Southampton rejected it. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the next day, it was within 24 hours, Liverpool bid again with a higher bid. This is the way we should be working. If this bid gets rejected from Atalanta, which I think it will, we have to bid. We have to be ready for that next bid. What's our next structure? Put it straight back in. I don't want to be waiting ages like we were with the Mason Mount saga, because we just don't have the time, to be honest with you. Especially in the sense of the fact that, you know, the season starts very soon. 14th of August is our first game. Højlund needs to come into training, needs to train with the players, needs to adapt. We need to start working. We really do. S10 says, striker will not solve all our problems. Football is not good enough. Ten Hag is suspect. Don't agree. Ten Hag's brilliant manager. The only thing I think is suspect is playing Bruno on the right. Can't get my head around it at all. And I thought, I did think we created chances. And we will create more chances, you know, building out from the back and playing that possession-based style football. It's just, there's no threat in the box. There's no threat in the box. Anyway, let's move on to the next little bit of news. So, goalkeeper Dean Henderson. Nottingham Forest are edging closer to an agreement with Manchester United over the signing of Dean Henderson. The deal is for an initial loan with an obligation to buy, and that is coming from Sky Sports. Great stuff, because again, I know I said as soon as Fred leaves, I think that gives us the money to sign Amrabat. But, you know, if Henderson leaves, again, you're getting full profit, an academy player. That could give us the money that we need to go and sign Amrabat as well. So, outgoings speed up Man United signing players, and what we need to do is sign likes of Højlund and Amrabat. So, Dean Henderson, if it's a loan with an obligation to buy, I'll be absolutely gutted, because I think that would be horrendous business. You can sell Dean Henderson for 30 million, 25 to 30 million in this market. I can't have anyone tell me otherwise. You can. So if we don't do that, I just think it'll be bad business on Man United's part. And we know we're bad at outgoings, but come on now, we should be getting a buy from Dean Henderson. I think it's really soft to say to Forest, yeah, we'll do a loan with the obligation to buy. We should be getting a purchase in now. So, oh God, I've read that wrong. I thought you said the deal is for a buy or a loan with an obligation to buy. It's literally the deal is only an initial loan with an obligation to buy. Why? Why is that happening? I don't want to get frustrated, but we need the money. We've been told about financial fair play all window. You have a keeper, Premier League, had 2 good seasons in the Premier League in Henderson. Forest desperately want him. He played well for them last year. And Man United could be agreeing to a loan with an obligation to buy. It's absolutely ridiculous, especially when we're told, Alfredo Pedula literally put in his article yesterday, Man United selling players can help with these deals hurrying up. So why one of our best assets, and that's where we're at, Dean Henderson is one of our best assets, a player you can generally get 25 to 30 million for, a club will pay it, they will. We're putting on a loan with an obligation to buy. Especially with the fact that, you know, Forest are desperate to get Henderson in. I don't get it. Why aren't we playing hardball with this? I'd need some more information, but off the bat, just reading that out, I can't understand why we're not selling him and why we're not holding out to get the money for him. But anyway, Harrison Holt says, that was Madrid's first game. I'm quite worried we should have been running all over them, considering we have played like 4. First team hasn't, though. First team only played against Arsenal. Remember that. First team only played the first 45 minutes against Arsenal. So we haven't necessarily played 4 games because a lot of them were like, you know, youth players in them first couple of games. Also, Real Madrid have played 1 before. This was their 2nd game, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't get it. Don't get the loan. I just don't get why we'd accept that. It's frustrating. We need to be harsher in the market. And again, coming in from Fabrizio Romano, Galatasaray are still keen on signing Fred. He will leave Man United this summer. We heard Galatasaray were putting together another bid. Their first bid for Fred was 5 mil. I mean, that is cheek if I've ever seen it. That is, have you seen, and I'm not referencing Fred to be a Lamborghini or anything like that, but have you seen that meme where someone goes into a shop and you know, they're looking to buy something, say they were buying like a new car or something, and instead of just putting the money down, you're getting pennies out your piggy bank, you're putting, you know, belongings you don't want that aren't worth anything, you're putting on the table saying, will he take that? Well, no, we won't take that. Freddie's worth 20 million, £5 million isn't enough, and apparently their next bid is going to be like 8 million. So that's what, it's not confirmed, but that's what I've seen and that's what I've heard. So on that, if I was, Fred might want to go to Galatasaray, but at the end of the day, I know Saudi are interested as well. I know Fulham are interested. They're both probably going to bid a lot higher for Fred. So I'd be like, Galatasaray, if you're not going to come to the table with at least a 15 million offer, then don't bother picking up the phone. We'll block your number. Like, that's what I'd be like at the moment, because it's just ridiculous to entertain bids like that for Fred. We want 20 million in for him, rightly so. I would settle on 15, but bids like 5 and 6, 8 million, it's just not going to happen. Andy, thoughts on Rashford, Beth? I think people get too carried away in pre-season and are too reactionary, whether that's positive or negatively. But Rashford, I think yesterday, well, today really, in that game as striker was anonymous. Couldn't really get into the game. I thought our whole front three's press got completely outplayed and they played through us with ease. It needs work. And we need a striker and we need Rashford playing on the left. That is where I'm at with that one. But I still think Rashford's going to have an absolutely amazing season, and I think a lot of him. He's in my fantasy team, so I'm backing him all the way. Paulo says, all teams' hard work, along with Erik and the whole staff, is for nothing if these below-par greedy owners do below-par greedy owners, I don't know, do nothing or don't go. Da King says, we're being ripped off on all sides. Henderson on loan, low bid on Fred. That's what I mean. We need to really put our foot down. We really do with this. So, yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And this is, again, not to keep going back to it, this is why we should be making it clear to players who's getting sold at the start of the window and have plans in place, not start sorting it out when it's nearly, what date is it today? 27th of July. We need to be a little bit more proactive at the start of the window, if I'm being honest. But yeah, let's move on a little bit. I do think there was some really good positives to take from yesterday's game. Again, I thought Luke Shaw looked great. Onana, as I said, looked good. I don't want to be that person, but Palestra for me, honestly, someone tell me the difference between him and Sancho. As in, like, quality. I think Palestra looks just as good as him. And I'm not just targeting in Sancho. Palestra looked better than Rashford yesterday. He looked better than Antony. These are players that, you know, we've paid a lot of money for. So I think Palestra deserves some game time. Again, that is credit to Palestra. I think he deserves some game time. He looks good. He's got a low centre of gravity. He's good on the ball. But it also means our attack has to step up as well. It really does. You know, our attack does have to step up because we talk about needing a striker, but we need more from the wingers too. We really do. Also, Garnacho, I thought was a shining light. Gets the crowd off the feet. He was the little bit of entertainment in that final third. Yeah, there was a few things you think maybe you should have made a different decision, but entertaining. Our best forward player, 18 years old. So obviously don't want to be too reactionary in pre-season, but these are issues we had seen creep in last season, so we just want to address them really. But again, you know, I thought Casemiro, we've seen he takes a few games to warm up, so absolutely nothing to worry about. He was warming up towards the end of his spell in that game. Bruno looked good, but unfortunately, you know, he gets nullified when he's out on the right, so it's not his fault. It's really not. I thought that shot he took on was nice. But yeah, there's some things we massively need to address, and Højlund and Amrabat will will make it better, because Mainoo, really upset about his injury, but he got the chance yesterday. You know, if Mainoo comes off injured yesterday, Eriksen doesn't enter the pitch, Amrabat does, I think, personally. Or Amrabat probably even starts, do you know what I mean, in that midfield. So, and then it pushes players back onto the bench. You have a stronger team. So, yeah, we need to address a few things, but there's some positives as well. But Kobbie Mainoo's injury, gutted, because I thought he looked like he was going to have a great game, and he's just such a good talent that we want to keep nurturing, and to have the opportunity to play against that Real Madrid midfield would have been excellent for him, but unfortunately he did get injured. But Ten Hag on Kobbie Mainoo's injury said, "I understand the question, but you can never tell straight after a game. We have to wait for what it is. Hopefully he's not too bad and chances will come." Let's just wait and see. He did leave with a protective boot on and crutches, which never is nice to see, but also at the same time, Bruno left the Brighton game on crutches and a protective boot and was playing the following Thursday, but Bruno kind of is made out of metal and just plays through anything. So it's hard to compare. Hopefully it's okay. Ten Hag, again on Mainoo, hopefully he's not too bad and chances will come. I wanted to see what levels he could play against Arsenal. We were pleased with his performance. I wanted to see if he could repeat that and set conclusions. Now I have to wait for the diagnosis. Again, if I'm Kobbie Mainoo listening back to that, I'm so gutted, because he obviously was really impressed with him against Arsenal, which he should have been because he was great. On the back of that, again, you know, youth players, if you play well, you will get chances under Ten Hag, and that's what he's done. He's give Kobbie Mainoo the chance. Unfortunately, he's got injured, but, you know, if he would have played a really good game against Real Madrid, who knows where that would have gone on to, and he was, you know, he was going to make his conclusions about him. He's already got conclusions. It doesn't take one game, but that really could have been the kick-on for game time next season. So it is a little bit frustrating. It's obviously so frustrating for the player, but it's sad for us as well, because everyone's massively behind Kobbie at the moment. He looks like a great talent. I just hope that he can recover quickly and get back on track, because, you know, if he's out for a few months now, in a few months' time, Amrabat could have settled in, players might be ahead of him in the pecking order, and it's really tough to try and kind of earn back that chance. I think he will, because he's a great talent. But, you know, you kind of want to, when you set this momentum, you want to follow up on it, so hopefully he's okay. Yeah, Triple JJ says, what about Donny? I thought Donny looked good. I actually really do. He came on, he looked lively, he was getting into pockets of spaces. What I've noticed under Donny is playing, you know, in a more possession-based system, he just looks better. He's a possession-based player. And since he's come back from injury, he's looked decent. Nothing to write home about, nothing to get the banners out about, but, you know, apparently Ajax are interested in signing him. Seeing that could boost his price a little bit. And it's sad, because I did always want it to work out with Donny, but I do think his time has kind of come to an end, no matter what he really does in this pre-season. But you never know. But he looks good. Good squad player to have if we do end up keeping him. Going to be interesting which attacker is going to create chances for Højlund. Antony does not create chance enough, barely crosses the ball in the box, wants to shoot himself, same for Rashford. Antony predictable. Yeah, you know, it's a very good point, David Main. It's a very good point, because I'm going to sound like Ricky now. Left footers should play on the left, right footers should play on the right. And there is a world where inverted wingers can pay off massively and can be excellent. I mean, you just got to look at City, the amount of chances they create. It can happen. It does happen. You know, Liverpool as well. Can happen, does happen. Again, you know, look at you know, you look at these players. But I have to say, it's only pre-season, so I don't want to be too reactionary. Antony cutting in and shooting every single time he has the ball. If I was a player playing with him, it'd annoy the hell out of me. And I love Antony, and I think he's got real talent. But you've got to learn when to pass it and when to shoot. And every single time cutting in, like, how many of them shots go in, realistically? Out of the many he takes on, not many. So is it worth doing it every time? If I'm Ten Hag, I'm saying, look for the cross, but can he cross? You know, can he cross on that left-hand side? I've seen him do it before, but he should be doing it more often. Antony, I've seen him cross on the left. He's great, he's brilliant. Why can't players interchange more? I think that should be happening as well. It really should. You know, it's the same things that didn't work last season when it comes to scoring goals. Antony got, not just targeting Antony, I'm talking about others as well. Last season, what was Antony's signature move? Cutting in and shooting. We didn't score that many goals last season, and that was part of it. We need to cross the ball more. I completely agree. And it's worrying me that we're not really doing that. You know, hopefully, you know, putting Bruno out on the right was obviously an attempt to do that from Erik ten Hag. It really was. But Bruno's so good in the middle, it just doesn't work. So there's a lot to think about, and this is what pre-season's for, like testing things out. Mount, I think, can definitely bring more in terms of creation. Been a little bit quiet the last couple of pre-season games, but again, you know, pre-season, it's really tough to tell. We had pre-season Pereira and then he disappeared for the start of the season. As long as Mount's hitting the ground running in the season, I'm absolutely fine with it. And, you know, he's not looked bad. He's just looked a little bit quiet, that's all. And I do think he should have scored yesterday, to be honest with you. Larry Green says Bruno on the wing is the worst thing. Mark N says cross the ball and Rashford at striker is terrible in the air. Makes no sense. This is, again, to play the type of football we need to play, we need to have the right profiles in. Exactly what you're saying. You know, if we had Antony yesterday and we were constantly crossing, Rashford isn't the type of striker that feeds off crosses. But that's the way we ultimately want to play, because Højlund is the type of striker that will feed off crosses. So it's just, this is why we need to be practicing in pre-season with the right profiles in. But yeah, interesting as well that when we made all them changes, the only two players to stay on were Bruno and Onana. This is how highly Ten Hag rates Bruno. Obviously, he's the captain. He's so important to this team, and I just thought I'd let that stand out. But yeah, Kobe Mainoo, gutted for him, but hopefully he recovers quickly. Scott McTominay on the could be injured, which is disappointing to say the least, because we had news yesterday coming out that Scott McTominay, 40 million David Moyes might be willing to pay for Scott McTominay. Genuinely, that could be the best bit of business we've ever done. Genuinely ever done, if that ended up happening for Scott McTominay. I'm not joking. Scott McTominay for 40 million, I'd be absolutely buzzing. And I think it'd be a good move for West Ham as well. They're getting a good player. You know, you saw him yesterday. He can drive forward. You know, he was looking quite positive. In the West Ham team, he'd be good for them. He'd be a good player. But after the game, he was seen, Ty Marshall says, he was seen getting treatment on his knee. We know McTominay, you know, low-key, McTominay is a little bit injury-prone. Like, he does have these injuries every season where he's out for a little bit. So, hopefully it's nothing and he's still up for sale, because if McTominay had an injury that lasted a couple months, he's not getting sold. And this is a real opportunity for him to get sold, because Moyes is interested, the Scottish connection, nearly went Scottish myself then, the Scottish connection, and if they're willing to offer 40 mil, hello. If I was Man United, I'd be saying, come on Scott, get on the plane, let's drive you over to West Ham. Like, it's a brilliant, brilliant deal for us. And best of luck to McTominay. I think it'd be a great move for him, because he'd be playing week in, week out. So, yeah, hopefully he's not injured. Told you says our squad will have less players. Ten Hag likes to work with the trim squad, but we've definitely got more than enough in there. Onana, what's my name, says Marco Pierre. Mount played many games well as a right interior for Tuchel when they won the Champions League, so why does Bruno get pushed to the right? Honestly, Mahad, again, I don't like to go against Ten Hag because I love the guy and I really rate him. But when I saw the lineup come out, I thought he would be right as an inverted player, you know, on the right. I really did. I was surprised when it was Bruno. I know he likes Bruno for his crossing, but he didn't really get many crosses in the box, to be honest with you. Successful ones anyway. But let's talk a little bit about Andre Onana, because it was his debut yesterday. Well, today. I keep saying yesterday, but it was today. And I thought overall he was great. Obviously, you know, people blaming him for that first goal. Again, I'll reiterate, it's ridiculous. It was offside. You can clearly see it was offside. Varane actually did very well to step inside. People are thinking Wan-Bissaka played him off. I've looked at it back. He was definitely off. A little bit of a miscommunication with Martinez, yes, but in any other game it would have been offside. So, you know, that goal wouldn't have stood. Claimed crosses very well, quick off his line. His positioning was excellent, dropping in as that kind of third centre-back like we expected him to do. Luke Shaw was getting a lot of the ball and driving up the pitch, which was lovely because, you know, he was a really good outlet, and Onana, his passing was excellent, absolutely excellent, quick, you know, and he put himself in good position. So I think a good debut for him. Well, he didn't actually have much to do. Obviously, that second goal, there was absolutely no one in the world who's stopping that. But that save from Vinicius was nice. Like, it was good. Nothing to absolutely write home about, but it's a really good first performance, and I'm excited to see him build on it. So, Ten Hag on Andre Onana says, when you play against Real Madrid, you will concede chances because it's a very good team. But overall, he played really quite well. He was there when we conceded chances, and I think everyone has seen that he's made a good debut. He then says, definitely there are principles, but he's a keeper who can be used as a +1 in the back. So we will, in our strategy, put that in. So again, like I said, I've been saying for so long, you know, Onana's going to come in and play as kind of that third centre-back when we're building up attacks in transition. And, you know, we're trying to build up the pitch, and Ten Hag just kind of, you know, made that clear himself there. And, yeah, so that's what Ten Hag had to say a little bit on Andre Onana. Really positive debut for him. I think the only way he's up for Onana. He's going to massively transform us. But, like I said, we can play all this nice football, get the ball at the pitch, and Real Madrid are a great side, and we did manage to do that. But if we don't have anyone to put the ball in the back of the net, there's no point doing it. So we need to get a striker in. I have to reiterate that again. But I think there was a couple more quotes from Erik ten Hag coming out that I'm just going to have a little look at. Cheeky look at them. See if there was anything else come out that I've missed while I've been live with you guys. Let's have a little look and see. Here we go. So, yeah, oh, it's coming out again from, if anyone's seen the account on Twitter, the ex-West Ham employee, he brings exclusive news about West Ham. And he's actually been very, very good on all things West Ham. He was great when it came to the Arsenal deal with Declan Rice. And he's actually just put out saying Scott McTominay is the main target for the defensive midfield for West Ham. So again, a lot of news coming out of West Ham and McTominay. I love it. I deserve it. And I won't repeat what my friend said to me yesterday, but they messaged me and they said, if you can imagine it, if David Moyes pays 40 million for Scott McTominay, I will, blank, won't say it. But it'd be a great deal. It'd be a great deal. And 40 million is from the academy. It goes straight to our profit. I would bloody love it. I really would. So hopefully that deal can kind of heat up a little bit there. It can heat up a little bit. And David Moyes, you know, you take Maguire and Scott McTominay, always forgiven. You know, one of the best managers in United history. We'll forget all about it. So let's have a look and see. So hopefully, again, reiterating, McTominay's injury isn't too bad. But let's see if there's any more Erik ten Hag quotes that I've seen come out. Again, like I was saying about Liverpool being fast on transfers and us not. You know, oh, it's just a retweet, but that Lavia deal, I guarantee Liverpool get Lavia in before we get Højlund in. And they've literally started that deal this week. We've been on the Højlund for like 2 months. It's so annoying. Well, I'll retweet that tweet while I'm there. But, yep, Erik ten Hag needing a striker, absolutely. It's always difficult to say, but we are working 24/7. Anything else that we can see? Just talking about working hard and that there's still some more work to do between Onana and the defence, and that's great to see because, you know, we do really want to see that relationship develop and blossom, and I think it could be a brilliant one. And he talked a little bit about the physicality. It was a good match. There is a benefit from today. You play on a high level, high intensity, 2 competitive teams, and that is what you need to prepare for the league. I absolutely agree. And also, Erik ten Hag on the pressing, and I completely agree with what he's saying here. I think the pressing could be better. We have done that much better against Arsenal. I thought our pressing against Arsenal was great. We can be more compact on the ball. We can be calm. Nevertheless, we created chances, but we didn't score. So that's where we're at now. Also, quick little shout out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka because I think in pre-season he's been good. And again, yesterday, there was a few passes that went astray, but brilliant. Progressing the ball up the pitch, you know, with the ball at his feet, he was good. Defensively against Vinicius, who, by the way, I think when you're just talking about wingers, I think Mbappe is the best player in the world, but as a winger, Vinicius is right up there with the best winger in the world, and Wan-Bissaka was dealing with it. So, again, shout out to Wan-Bissaka. I generally think he's first choice right back going into the season, and I generally didn't think I'd say that. I thought it would be Dallo, but Wan-Bissaka has done brilliantly recently. But lastly, to finish off the show, just a little bit of information here. If you're following the tour, and make sure you're following all the content on the United Stand too, it is that Man United will have a training session tomorrow morning in Houston, and then we will fly back to San Diego for a few days before heading up north to Vegas for the final game of the US tour against Dortmund. There's been a lot of travelling for Man United in this tour, maybe a little bit too much travelling, and you know we've been there, we've been watching it. We still have after that game, the game against Lens at Old Trafford, and then the game against Bilbao in Dublin. So, you know, we've still got a few more to do, but again, I expect improvements in the game against Dortmund. It's a nice little team to go against. I'm excited to see that game, and again, I expect the first team to play more and more minutes. I think they got about 60 yesterday. Maybe he might push it up to 90. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm liking the pre-season tour so far. We're learning a lot, but yesterday against a top team, I think it really was a reality check of what we need. And Amrabat and Højlund, the deals need to hurry up. And please, Man United, can we have some sort of movement before the end of this week? I really need something now. I really do, because I'm excited for this and I just want a little bit of hope. Rizik Mungal says, "Hi Beth, hope you're well. Glazers pricing players at a high price. Parts would towards buying players. Balance will be their dividends. Højlund hotter than the sun. Here we go, coming soon." Didn't quite make sense of all of that, but thank you for hoping I'm well. I am, and yeah, Glazers pricing players at a high price. You think that'll be to put into their dividends rather than buying players? Well, it have to be to go towards buying players because we've been fed this story all season about financial fair play. But I don't want to price it too high to the fact we can't get the players off the books. It's a good balance, and it's about having a good recruitment team. Hotter than the sun, Højlund. I really do like that for sure. I really like it. And do you know what? A really good chat in there from Mahed Asif saying, really shows levels when you realise Hugo, McNeil and Højlund are all the same age. You mentioned Hugo there. Hugo and Evans have actually joined up with the rest of the Man United squad for the rest of the tour, you know, after being in the youth game in San Diego against Wrexham. And what I will say about that, the fact that we are bringing Hugo into this shows how light we are up front. Because Hugo, he's got talent and there's a player there, but he's nowhere near good enough to be playing, you know, he won't get any first team minutes next season. I can't see it happening. So the fact we'd actually had to bring him back in, striker is one of the most important positions on the pitch, and it's so necessary that we go and get one done. And again, Højlund hotter than the sun. We hope it happens. There's going to be a lot of pressure, and I hope he can live up to expectations as much as he can, but also I hope people know what to expect with him and are patient with him. But, you know, having a striker is better than not having one. So that's the kind of way you can look at it with Højlund. What would you rather have, an inexperienced striker with a massively high ceiling that's probably going to miss chances and isn't going to, you know, be scoring 20, 30 goals a season straight away, but is hungry, anticipation's good in the box? Or would you rather just be kind of rotating between Rashford and Martial for the whole season? Got to kind of look at what you'd want to do. It's not the ideal situation, but I'm all behind Højlund, and hopefully we can get an update on the bid today, and we'll be here to bring you all the latest news. But thank you everyone for watching the show. Enjoy Writing says, get you on the United board and sort it out, Beth. Tell you what, I'd put him in line. I'd tell him. I'd just be putting bids in without getting permission off the Glazer. I'd better sack it. Let's put it in. Never mind. But no, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Højlund, and hopefully we can get an update on that bid very soon and this starts to move quick. I honestly think we're not as far away off on pricing as people think. Currently 50 million plus 10 million in add-ons. What we want is probably around 55, 60 million and then add-ons on top of that. So not too far off. Hopefully we can get the deal done. And Erik ten Hag is waving the white flag. He's saying, I'm desperate for it. Remember that quote? Everyone, well, not everyone, is doing their best to get a striker in. Very interesting, food for thought to say the least. But thank you everyone for tuning into the show, especially after that game late last night. Excited for Dortmund on Sunday. Pre-season tour has been good so far over in the States. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Hit a like on the video. Højlund hotter than the sun. Hit a like on the video if you want Højlund to join as soon as possible. And yeah, everyone, we'll be back throughout the day. Mark will be back to update you with all the latest news. Got a nice show coming at 4 o'clock. Look forward to that. And we'll see you on the next one, everyone. Have a good day.